Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's combat report. We are looking at the BF. We're looking at the Focke-Wulf 190 D-9 footage from the review I did a couple of months ago. And we're gonna go through this plane. I did hear the 190s had some adjustments to the elevator control and stuff like this. So these days she might be slightly more effective there. But the differences never are that big with these kind of changes. So I don't believe this plane has changed a lot. So we're just going to use this footage for this combat report. Now we just climbed and we're going to attack this bomber here, a PB-4Y. Not the best armament from below, but still dangerous to approach with all the 50 cals. That was just an easy pass by. That what didn't require anything specific from me. No tactic, no planning. Just you see a bomber coming at you and you just attack it. That's just the way it goes. And if you shoot well, you can shoot off a wing. As I did have to adjust my aim though as I started low. Now here we have an interesting situation with the I-225 at higher altitudes, which is quite the beast of a plane. And 2-3 planes a little bit lower. This I-225 definitely is the danger here for me. The rest is just way below, but we are in a numerical advantage. We have 3 people here from my squad, and that easily pushes somebody like that down. Not a problem. We're gonna dive after it. In a dive I should be able to keep up eventually, even though his energy retention is much better now. And he is moving away. As I don't want to follow right now. I want to keep scanning. We haven't seen everybody yet, and you don't want to lose all your altitude too early. So I am actually going in right now. Usually I'm pretty careful when it comes to that, but I don't remember the exact moment in this match. Maybe I have already counted people down low, but the thing you want to remember is that you don't want to go in too early if you still missing 4 or 5 people on the enemy team that you haven't seen yet. Now this plane low, it's quite fine, but do remember that you do pass up the boom and zoom roll when you go into these kind of engagement, and you are going into the energy fighting role. Now this plane definitely isn't bad as an energy fighter, but the elevator is so stiff that you do come into a danger zone. And for example, the P-51H that is behind us is more maneuverable and is in theory on the lower altitudes a faster plane. So we are gonna have some trouble here. Thank God I had Maxi passing him there and damaging him fairly good. I see some fuel leak there, I see oil leak. So it's not gonna be too devastating for us. We're gonna extend from these 2 planes here. I see that Maxi killed the P-51H. He's got an AD-4 there, a dangerous plane, but he can handle that in his A7M. The I-225 here is coming down with Andro on his butt, and we're gonna go in to help. See what we can do here. I'm trying to lead him here, but I see too late here that he's actually turning in, and I don't adjust my aim. I give off a small burst day, both as a deterrence and to see if I could maybe be lucky, but it didn't go up, so it was a total miss there. Now here I do deploy the flaps that will, you know, slow me down even more. And the I-225 actually crashes. We are looping over, trying to get some altitude back. I often make these maneuvers in the vertical to yo-yo a little bit, keep up my energy and being able to pick up energy again. When you dive on the plane then, usually a good idea in many planes, especially planes like this, it is not good to make flat horizontal turns. You really want to be in a turn fighter for that, and this is basically as far removed as you can get from a turn fighter. As this AD-4 was more of a danger than I thought, and he killed both Maxi and Andro there. We did manage to solve the problem though in the end, but it can be a feisty plane, the AD-4. Nothing to diminish, you know. You got to be careful. You always got to be careful. Now we still have our flaps deployed here. Might well be that we just raised it. Very good. I just noticed that I still had those things deployed. Oh, and we are actually deploying them. I'm just blind. I'm not seeing it right. We're going after him. After all that confrontations on the lower altitudes, this guy came. We turned in time. If somebody comes down from the higher altitudes like that, he will compress and he will not be able to follow your split as if you make it at that point. So it's always a good maneuver to make, and then you give that person a choice. Do I follow immediately or do I go up again? Now, if you have a good experienced boom and zooming pilot, he will always go up again and just reset the situation, make another run. They will not turn, lose speed, and then come after you, usually. If people do that, that's often a nice thing, because then you know you've got a pilot against you that is not very good. But yeah, it is not written in stone, these kind of things. But usually the experienced pilots will. This is basically not very smart for me. This was the last plane, and I wanted to finish it. I just sat right on his aft, and he was able to shoot at me for a long time and damage my plane fairly good. This could easily have cost me my life. So yeah, I usually wouldn't do that, but this was the last plane. Going after it. There's several other people in the neighborhood that wanted that kill as well. And in those situations, sometimes I will be aggressive, where I'm usually, normally I know I should be careful, but you know, gotta make interesting videos, right? And it's also in my nature a little bit. I know the drill. I know this wasn't a good idea. Hell, I got the kill and I'm still alive, so I guess it worked. Those were a few fun shots, by the way. I didn't intend to hit him. Now here we have another match. We are trying to support an ally. We're going after him. We're keeping steep in that turn to get the guns on target. As I was already hitting him, I was confident I could get the full brunt force of my guns on him. And when I come out of that dive, going in the direction of that plane, and he's coming straight for a head-on, I might as well take it. The 190s and especially the Doras are fantastic for these kind of head-ons. The MG 151s are fantastic, and the German machine guns are also quite nice. So I'm never afraid to go into a head-on like that if I have to. Now here we are going for this D30 here. We do get a critical hit. Going into the vertical, this is again what I'm talking about, these loops that I do, especially in planes that are not fantastic as a turner. You want to make your turns in the vertical. You want to get altitude back and use the plane as an energy fighter, and don't make flat turns with this plane. That goes for a lot of planes that are not specialized turn fighters, where you want to play with energy. Especially if you have a plane that excels at acceleration, for example, you have a good chance to keep a higher energy state as many of your opponents that you will fight. And making flat turns does nothing for your energy, it just diminishes it. Well, if you make the turn and gain back a little bit of altitude, you after that, and you of course have to look around you to see if you can do that, because you will lose a little bit of speed while making that yo-yo maneuver, and sometimes you got to be a bit lucky here. I took the head on as I had a plane behind me and two planes in front of me, two jets here, the P-59s, very maneuverable early jets for the Americans. I decided to take that head on again, as this plane has a very small profile in a head on and has its fantastic armament in the front to win usually. I got a crit there, did take a little bit of damage, but the plane is quite sturdy as well, so you want to do that. Again, I took some altitude here, going down for the dive again with web. This plane has good, very good acceleration. Even without web, this plane picks up its speed very nicely. You see, I started with 370 or something. I'm now at 520, having good speed again. And that's how you can play with your energy as you go through the maneuvers and through the opponents. Now, unfortunately, one of my allies gets shot down and the other one crashes. So that means it's just me here right now. And yeah, against the Spitfire and the jet, it's a difficult. But the Spitfire is actually extending there, so that's good. I'm gonna try to force a head-on here again. And unfortunately, he pulls up before I get my guns on target. And he's trying to maneuver here, getting on my tail, which he can easily do. That plane pulls way better in a turn than my Dora. But again, I used the getting the altitude back a little bit, and then you being able to push the nose down and pick up some speed. Now against the jet, that will not work in the long run. That's why I had a problem here. One of my allies was coming up, so I decided to take him into the vertical and hopefully bait him or stall him out. He was already damaged as well a little bit by an ally, I think. I saw some smoke here and there. But this is just me trying to hold on here. Why I'm making the little flicks with movement, because it makes a difference of many meters in the air when you make those small adjustments while you go into a vertical spiral like that. And it will put off his aim, let's say. So that's what you want to do when you go into a stall spiral like that. You want to move your wings sometimes a little bit when somebody's shooting at you, because those movement will, it will maneuver your plane. The difference is meters, and it can mean the difference between life and death. It did hurt me though, and I'm quite damaged as this Spitfire is coming in. A Spitfire that I had seen earlier go back to his airfield, but he's now above us, unfortunately, and of course way more maneuverable. The only thing we have here is our roll rate, which we will try to use. I used to get out of that turn a little bit more quick. I used my flaps, and now I'm just in a dive to pick up speed. With my damage though, it might not work, but we'll see. He's coming from higher up, of course. He started with a higher energy retention. The acceleration, the immediate acceleration in a Spitfire is, of course, very nice as well. So he's coming from up high. We're going to try to make him overshoot, as he's faster than me right now. And he did overshoot. Let's see if we can get a shot here. He comes in. No. He turns down too much. We're turning in. We're going to get a shot. This could easily have been the killing shot. I was unlucky though. Unlucky. Otherwise we would have defeated this Spitfire with a positional, an energy advantage, and just the overall better position. We would have defeated him had I been a little bit more lucky there. Now again, we're gonna have to try to keep his guns off me. This is very doable with my roll rate. I can more quickly adjust than him, and that makes it hard for him to shoot at me right here. So I am gonna cut engine pretty soon, and then we're gonna try to make him overshoot. That I'll do that here. I'm rolling over, dipping, and he can't roll with me. I keep the elevator on too long here, and I crash into the ground. That's unfortunate because I just made him overshoot, but that's it. You can't win them all, guys. You can't win them all, but we had some good matches in this plane, and it's definitely worth your time. The defensive flying you can do in this plane is awesome, and it is definitely fun in the defensive maneuvering with that roll rate. Absolute joy to fly. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.